And I'm just incredibly proud to be able to sit next to him for what he stands for as a man, as a coach, as a dad, as a husband, and to arm together to lead this franchise to the next chapter. This is a historic day for us, and just couldn't be more excited as a general manager to introduce Darvin Ham as the new Lakers head coach.
Well, first of all, I want to thank God. Coming from where I come from, I was raised in a household of a strong spiritual faith, belief in God and Son Jesus Christ. So I want to start with that. Everything I've been able to overcome in my life, along with the people around me, it's been that spirit that was instilled in me as a youngster. I want to thank my wife, my children, my friends. I got my good friends here. Everybody that has supported me, put their arms around me in tough times and great times, but who have remained consistent over the course of my life. My agent Spencer and his family, it's been one heck of a ride, and the gift that just keeps on giving. And I want to thank Jeannie and the rest of the Bus family, Joey, Jesse, Johnny, Janie. Everybody is just like, it's like coming back home. And as sad as it is for me to be leaving, one of my Coach Bud, is sometimes you got to walk that walk on your own. I'm forever grateful for him and what he did for me in my career. I couldn't be sitting in this chair without him allowing me to learn, grow, and excel on his watch. I love him to death. We went from colleagues to friends to brothers, all the while having the opportunity to make history. And the same thing I plan to come here and instill in this program and get us back to the top of the food chain, along with the help with Rob. We're going to collaborate, communicate, and to make sure we also demonstrate. And we have a strong basketball team and basketball ops. We're going to put together a strong staff. And I think sky's the limit. We're not putting a ceiling on our situation. And we'll go as far as our daily preparation takes us. You hear people, well, are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? We're going to get better every day. That's what we're going to do. And the things we're going to do in that daily process will lead to the type of success this franchise and this city has been accustomed to. So thank you. Thank you again.
Hi, Kyle Goon, Orange County Register. Coach, when you were going through the process, obviously, like you said, everybody's got to be accountable and buy into the culture. But how much of your vision is sort of founded on the idea of how LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook can play together after that this team didn't get the results it wanted out of that group last year?
Well, it's how can they compete together? You know what I'm saying? Like, it starts on the defensive end, and from there we're going to build back toward the offense. I think the type of spacing, a four out, one in style, which I'm going to implement, is going to help all parties. My goal is, again, continue with the development of our younger players and to make those guys comfortable where they're not having to run to a telephone booth and throw a cape on and try to save the day. Everything has to be a team effort. Again, competitive, together, and accountable. And if there's mistakes made, I have to be able to coach those three guys like I do the rest of the roster. It can't be, we have the saying, it's like facts over feelings. And, once you see the film and it's a fact that you missed your assignment, then that has to be pointed out. Because if I can't point that out to one of our big three, then the last man or somebody in the rotation, they're not going to take what we're doing seriously. So it has to be consistent across the board.
Hey, Darvin, congratulations. Bill Oram with the Athletic. Specifically on Russ, a lot has been made about his fit with LeBron, and we didn't see it a ton last year with injuries, but How do you see those three working together? How do you see Russ fitting? And I guess you do see him here, I guess, based on the way you're talking.
Absolutely. I mean, just our running habits. And Russell, don't get it messed up. Russ is one of the best players our league has ever seen. And there's still a ton left in that tank. I don't know why people tend to try to write him off. I'm going to approach him like I do every player I've ever encountered. We're going to talk about our running habits with the ball, without the ball. And again, the team, the rhythm of the team, and trying to establish a rhythm with LeBron, Russ, AD, and again, share the load defensively and offensively. Defensively is where you're going to see us make our biggest leaps and bounds. We have to commit to the defensive side of the ball, or we don't have a chance to do anything. The offense won't even matter if we don't get stops.
Hey, Darvin, Mike Bresnan, Spectrum Sportsnet. Good to see you again. When you look at LeBron, both when you played against him this year and just in general on tape and film and whatnot, what comes across for a guy who will be 38 in about 6 months?
Just maintenance. And he's done a phenomenal job his entire career taking care of his body and spending the resources and provide himself with the right people around him to make sure he's able to sustain the type of level you see him play at even to this day. So just being in and not just Bron, but AD, Russ, our entire group, like we're really, really player health conscious. Like we'll get with the performance team, build out a plan for everybody. And again, the plan is to get stronger as the season gets longer. So that'll be my number one goal, is to try to lessen some of the wear and tear on LeBron, because I feel like he's shown that that level he's playing at is not going anywhere anytime soon. So I just want to try to help and assist him with being able to sustain that level.
Dylan Hernandez here, LA Times. Darvin, have you spoken to Russ Westbrook? And two, has there been any discussion among you guys about maybe a change in role for him, maybe coming off the bench? And for Rob, after what you saw last season, talking to Darvin, what made you think, this is a workable situation with Westbrook?
Yeah, I would say yes. Russ and I have had some really, really great one-on-one convos, man. And the biggest word I think came out of those discussions were sacrifice. That was the biggest word. It was sacrifice. We're going to sacrifice whatever we got to do. And it's not just Russ. There's going to be sacrifices that LeBron has to make, that AD has to make, on down the line through the rest of our roster. Again, we have to start on the defensive end. And in terms of what his role is going to be, I'm going to expect him to be the same tenacious, high-energy player that he's been on his entire career. A lot of it now may happen without the ball in his hand. Most of it now may happen on the defensive end. But, again, we have to sacrifice. There's no achieving anything without all parties, sharing the load, sacrificing, and depending on one another.
Just to follow and leverage off what Darvin's saying, I think all of us would agree that teams, whether it's in any sport, take on the identity of the head coach. And the things that stood out to Darvin in the interview process was the two words he's been using. One is sacrifice. He was a player in the league that made every sacrifice to be great. He wasn't a superstar. He knew what it took to be in the gaps, to do the little things to make his teams great, like the championship team he was on. And then toughness. I think one of the things we lacked as a team last year is an identity of toughness. And I think we're excited to see how Coach, with his leadership style, will bring those attributes to our team next year. And as he said, there's going to be expectations, especially on the defensive end, that those words carry forward, words like toughness and sacrifice and accountability. And that's what Coach Ham's leadership stands for and represents.
Darvin, over here. Brad Tony with the LA Times. Welcome. How will you deal with the stress and pressure of being a first-time coach with a franchise that expects to win titles all the time?
I grew up in Saginaw, Michigan. I was shot in the face by accident April 5th, 1988. You go through something like that, it's going to do one or two things. It's going to make you fearful or fearless. It made me fearless. I don't feel no pressure. It's basketball. You want to talk about some of our military representatives across the seas fight for our democracy. That's pressure. This here is a challenge, and it's something that can be navigated. We have a great partnership, me and Rob, that's going to grow and continue to build. We have a great ownership group. We have great people around our building, great people involved in our personnel decisions. I look forward to it. Like I wanted to talk. I talked to LeBron my first day in the gym, and I wanted to start training camp the next day. I got so excited, and just to hear his excitement over the phone is like, man, and to see Russ and talk to AD and talk to Russ, and it just these guys, you know, they're not great by mistake, and they want to be able to do something. And I know all of them feel this way. They want to be able to do something collectively that's great. Put another banner in this building. And it starts right now. So that's just a challenge. That's not pressure. I've seen real pressure in life. So to me, this is fun. This is something that's going to be joyful, something we're going to look back on, remember these days, and when we're popping bottles of champagne somewhere, celebrating another banner going up.
Hi, Coach Ham. Kyle Kraska, Fox 11 LA. Welcome back. You just touched on it a bit, but could you tell us more about your reaction to how the players have seemingly accepted you once hearing that you were the head coach, either by way of conversations or by the way they responded on their social media?
I mean, it's been phenomenal. And just, you know, I came in the league as a player in 1996. Played 8 years, won a championship, played overseas, worked in what was then known as the D League at the time for 4 years, and then now going into my 12th year as an NBA coach, 11 as an assistant, now a head coach. And in our time passing, you know, my parents raised me to be able to engage people in a respectful, loving manner. And you show love and respect to get love and respect. So when I see these guys, and I'm actually one of the ones that actually walked in their shoes, I don't mind taking 5, 10, 20 seconds, a couple of minutes to stop, say hello, see how he's doing, see how his family's doing, ask about his people, his loved ones, if there's any advice he needs to get better or whatever. And then the bubble. When we were in the bubble, one of the positive things that came out of the bubble was the fact that we were all in the same space. So I could see Rob riding a bike every other day, or see him having breakfast or something. See LeBron over there, you know, fishing and riding a bike as well. Or we over there, you know, having cigars or something. Like, we got to engage one another and see the human side of one another. So a lot of those tweets and the messages I've gotten from different players I've coached, players who are no longer in the league, some are still in the league, I attribute that to just being common and just being a good source of energy. And it was humbling. Like, it's a little overwhelming at times. Like, man, just to see all the love. I mean, I just thank God for it.
Darvin, just wanted to ask you about your time here with Kobe and kind of also playing against him, but getting to know him, how that impacted you, and especially when you were an assistant and you spent all that time here in the practice court across the street with him.
Oh man, it was great, and God rest his soul, man. We spent a lot of time together on the practice floor, individual workouts, watching film, watching clips, and if I can go back and forth with him and have him disagree with me and then double back and tell me I was right, and we all know how stubborn he was, man. It's just it just gave me a wealth of confidence, man, in myself as a coach. And you know, just seeing him and him sharing with me the different ways he saw the game, but and even with Russ, LeBron, AD, all these guys, Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, all these guys Al Horford, Paul Millsap, these guys I've been able to coach and be around and learn from them. It's a two-way street. It's not just this coach that thinks he knows it all and he's just barking orders. No, you have to be able to, again, to collaborate, communicate, and understand each other, and not your way or my way, but what's the best way to go forward? What's the best plan for all of us? So Kobe was right, you know, at the forefront of that in my own development as a coach. You know, just the workouts we would do on the court, the type of film we would watch, dinners we've had just offline, just getting away from it all. Like, you know, he's a big part of why I was able to grow the way I did as a coach.
Darvin, Dan Wicke again with the LA Times. Kind of a two-part question. There was not really a report, I guess. Anthony Hardaway told a reporter in Memphis today that Rasheed Wallace could be somebody that is, or he believes Rasheed Wallace is going to be joining your staff. I guess, what's the status of that? And then what is sort of the staffing going to look like? Are you looking for coaches, somebody with head coaching experience to add to the staff? Kind of what's your view of what that's going to look like on your bench?
Well, me personally, and I shared this with Rob and Kurt and everybody that was on the basketball committee during the interview process, is like, I like coaches that like to roll up their sleeves, are going to be able to get out there. Like where I come from the last 9 years, we did everything. We did player development, we did scouting. I had to step in as the head coach on a few occasions, but it was a team. It wasn't no coordinators on either side of the ball. We all pitched in on all aspects of our team basketball, offensively and defensively. So I'm looking to build that similar type of staff. And in regards to Rasheed, that's an active situation. That's fluid. We're still working through that. That's not true at all, but he's definitely a candidate that we'll take a look at, but we're working through that. Like we have a list of names and some people that's currently under contract, and we're working with some really talented young coaches, and we're working through that to try to put together the best staff possible.
Darvin, Bill Orm with The Athletic again. We've talked about LeBron and Russ, but I'm curious what your view specifically of AD is and how to, maximize his potential and talent with this group and in your system.
I think he's the key. Like, he's the key. We've all seen what can happen when he's healthy, when he's playing at a high level. He's in a good rhythm. We saw it in the bubble. His skill set, his size, his versatility, his defensive acumen, like his relentlessness, his ability to give multiple efforts defensively is key. It's going to be the foundation of the type of standard we set within a quote-unquote Darvin Ham era. Like, it's going to be built on that defense, and he's going to be the main piece, the centerpiece of it. LeBron is always going to be great. LeBron is going to be LeBron. Russ is going to be Russ. But we need consistency out of Anthony Davis. We need him to be healthy. We need him to be in a good mental space. And we need him to be consistent as possible, back to playing that championship-type basketball at that level. And we're going to do everything in our power to support him and give him whatever he needs and keep him moving forward, and again, getting stronger as the season gets long.